We'll direct people.
Okay. All right, I know I went public. Oh, I know. I remember what happens. There's like a delay and then messages start coming up, hopefully. Yep, we have a person. We have a human. Hi, human. See, there's like a little delay, sir or ma'am, or both. Oh, there we go. Kathy, hi. Hi, Kathy. Hey, girl, I'm so proud of you. Thank you. Oh, my goodness. How nice. Hi, Queen. I made a live. You made a live. Hi. Hello, lovely. You guys, I've got the lashes on. I've got the magic hair in. It's a whole thing today for you guys. Trying to mix my real hair with the fake hair. Eventually. Oh, yes, this is live. Hi. Hi. I do many, somebody wrote. Okay, I'm so glad I made it on. Yes, you made it on. I just started. Thank you. Someone said I look great. Thank you very much. Hi, Kathy. You're so fabulous, Queen. Thank you. I've truly been loving your videos. Thank you. So I have a show here on YouTube called Kathy Griffin Talk Your Head Off. And here, I'll show you my co-host. Hold on. My co-host is one of my wigs, who I call Big Kathy. So there's like pieces in now, and I call them Little Kathy. And then a full wig is Big Kathy. But no relation to the Hiltons. Okay, please come to the UK. I would love to. I would love to go back and do shows there. We'll see if I can sell. Show the Chanel watch you've been wearing for years. And because it's got like real numbers, not Roman numerals. And so when I'm on stage, I'm like, oh my God, I've been talking for 2 hours. That's why I call the show Talk Your Head Off, because I do. I'm running, Kathy. Don't make me laugh too hard. Okay, well, if you're running, I get it, because I'm a big walker. I do a 2-hour walk every day. And the Daily Mail is not always kind, if you know what I'm saying. Because, you know, I don't walk in full hair and makeup and lashes. Kathy might not remember this, but years ago I was, oh my goodness. Okay, that one got very serious, and hello, and I hope you're doing better. And hello to everybody.
Somebody asked if Stephen Colbert reacted to your video.
Stephen Colbert has not reacted to my video. By the way, I just, you never know on the internet what's going to blow up, and that shit blew up. Like, that's a story from like 7 years ago, I think. And I don't want him to react, because he's a whole industry and I'm just me, and so it would be a bit of a David and Goliath situation. And also, it's probably not on his radar. So yeah, ironically, I swear. Okay, so on the YouTube show, sometimes I tape 2 in one day, and then my producer is Nick Walker, who does the Trixie Mattel show. And he usually takes about a week to turn the shows around. And you should be in a mental hospital. I have been. So I know you thought that was a sick burn, but I actually have been for 3 days. Anyway, on today's episode of Kathy Griffin Talk Your Head Off, I tell a story about James Corden. And it's not flattering. It's true, but it's not flattering. And so I do talk about other topics. I just want you guys to know that. How of your work? That's a great question. How of your work? How are you guys doing today? Somebody said, nice rack, right? I did gain 15 pounds since the election for some reason. Oh, gee, I wonder why.
Somebody asked if Trixie's still banned.
Trixie Mattel is still banned from my show. And it's a very tongue-in-cheek ban. She's welcome anytime. But I was going to do my very first episode with Trixie, kind of teaching me how to do a YouTube show. And then, wait, why did she cancel? She canceled because of oh yeah, Disneyland. Like, she just wrote Disneyland. Like, I'm at Disneyland. So I'm not as important as an amusement park, I know.
Somebody said they loved this episode this week.
Thank you for loving this week's episode. I don't even know the title of it, but it's more shit talking for me, basically. And I'm still telling you all the stuff that gets me in trouble, and I'm still constantly in trouble. And I will tell you, I have a very, very nice and very good publicist who sat me down and was like, you're a tough sell. And I'm like, thank you for saying it out loud. I agree, and I know. So good luck. I wish my team good luck all the time. Good luck.
Not seeing any questions.
Okay, we're getting questions. There's a lot of ginger abuse happening. By the way, what do you guys think of the ginger trend on TikTok and Instagram? I don't know if it's on YouTube, I'm sure it is, but I find it all fascinating. Okay, so it's a bunch of people who look like me talking about how the Black community has adopted us. We're not cooking for the cookout. I want to be very clear. I'm only allowed to bring Reynolds Wrap, which is fine. I'm grateful that my people have been adopted by any group. And so I know that trend is like touchy, and some of the videos are really funny, and some of them are people fucking my age with the super extra pale skin and the freckles and the red hair and the super light blue eyes, you know, getting bullied because I was like called fire crotch all the time when I was a kid. Imagine calling like a 9-year-old, hey, does the carpet match the drapes? Like when I was a kid. And so I love that trend. I'm not even gonna read, some of these comments are already hysterical. And so yes, it's a trend that I find fascinating. And here's my confession. While I was watching them all just thinking, what a unique trend, there was like a dude that's my age talking about what it was like to be bullied for looking like this. And I started crying watching his video. You guys, I thought I was gonna make fun of the trend, and then I started crying myself.
Somebody asked if you'd ever do a Patreon salon.
Oh, I tried to figure out how to do a Patreon salon. And what the salon means is it's a kind of a party, and I have them at my house for lunch or dinner. And it's really just a party where there's no phones are allowed at the table, and only one person is allowed to talk at the time. I should look up at the camera. And it's just something that I'm kind of living for. In fact, I had one on Sunday, and it was really delightful. But I tried to figure out how to do one on Patreon with paid subscribers, and I couldn't figure it out. So I did it on Substack, and it was really fun because then people start talking to each other. And if you like put your phones down and listen to each other, you get to actually know people, and it's pretty great.
Do you remember the first time you met Joan Rivers?
I remember the first time I met Joan Rivers, and I miss her so much. Did you watch the tribute? It was fantastic. And her daughter Melissa did a fantastic job. And I couldn't participate because I had a show that night. And I could hear Joan telling me, you can't cancel a show. But she raised me. And she and Don Rickles were my comedy parents. And wait, what was it about Joan?
The first time you met her.
Oh, the first time I met her, sorry. We became such good friends. I think the first time I met her, you guys, was as a fan. She was at a club in Santa Monica. I live in Malibu now, but not far from a city called Santa Monica in California. And she was at a club called, it might have been called The Horn. I think it was. And she was doing stand-up, and I went to see her because my parents loved her, and they said, you're not gonna believe this, Joan Rivers is performing in Santa Monica. And I was like, what? So I went to see her at least once, and she had a piano player who I now know. His name is Eric Vitro, and he works with the greatest singers you can even name. He's an amazing vocal coach. And he came to one of my salon parties, and he said, you know, I met you at the Joan Rivers show. And I was like, what? Thank you, Downtown Trash. So I want to get the handle correct. And that's how I met her the first time. And then she played my mom for multiple episodes on a show I was on in the 90s called Suddenly Susan. And we became even closer friends. Her daughter Melissa was my student when I used to teach at the Groundlings Improv Troupe, which is on Melrose in Los Angeles. Go see them. And, you know, we would just get together and talk and hang out and smack talk everybody.
Do you have a favorite memory of her?
I have so many great memories about Joan Rivers, but I think my favorite is when I was in New York, and I've never lived there, but I've worked there a lot, and I was banging some new guy, and I got a UTI, which is embarrassing. I was like in my late 40s. I was way too old for those shenanigans. So I had a show that night, and it was very painful. Guys, a UTI, you won again as a gender. You won again. Women, you know, if you've had a UTI, it's so painful. And I thought, well, I can't even do a show in this much pain. Who in the world will know a gynecologist that can see me with no notice. And so I called Joan and I was like, this is really embarrassing, but I'm banging this new guy and we had too much sex in one night and now I have a UTI. Do you have a gynecologist for me? And I know this is embarrassing that I'm even telling you that at my age, I'm still doing this kind of stuff. And then she just went, isn't it fabulous? And that's one of my favorite stories about her.
Someone asked if you have any other James Corden stories.
I don't have any other James Corden stories because I was never invited to be on the show again. So I didn't have an opportunity to have any more stories about him. But my experience was not good. And that's all I'm going to say because I want you to watch the latest episode of Kathy Griffin Talk Your Head Off here on YouTube.
Did you read Barbra Streisand's new memoir?
Not only did I read Barbra Streisand's new memoir, I listened to the 114-hour audiobook version, which is unintentionally hilarious. Now, it's a fascinating story because she is an icon and a legend and one of the great talents of any generation, and her story is riveting, but her reading it is really funny because she also, I think, doesn't know why she's funny sometimes. So, like, she describes every meal she's ever had in her life in this book. It is hilarious. So she talks about, like, at one point playing Wembley Stadium in England and how she decided to take 2 extra shows of Wembley because she wanted more of those little finger sandwiches. So as if her career isn't fabulous enough, she decides to take a bunch of time to describe, like, they had these little sandwiches that were like some with cucumber and cream cheese and some with tuna fish and sometimes maybe a salmon. But they were so good. I decided to do Wembley 2 more times. I know that's not a great impression, but just listen to her book. It's fantastic as she is.
Would you ever visit Rosie in Ireland?
I would absolutely visit my friend Rosie O'Donnell in Ireland. She moved. She has a severely autistic child who she looks after, obviously, and just felt that the chaos that's happening in the United States, which is real, and I am not reading the comments. I'm lucky enough to have somebody helping me going through them. So the Trumpers that are on here, I can't even see what you're writing, so you can just stop, not bother. But I just want to say what's happening right now is that our country is now fascistic. We now live in a fascist country, and we have a wannabe dictator at the helm, and I am very worried. And I would like to hear from you guys for once, if you are also worried, if you would ever consider leaving the country. If so, what country would you go to? And how would you facilitate that? Because I asked that question to several different groups of people in the last few months, and every single person I've asked actually has seriously thought about it. So I know that's a little heavy for a YouTube Live, but it is what's happening and we have to deal with it. And yes, I'm very well aware of the James Comey situation and its parallels to my situation. With the whole 8647 thing. And I have no love for Jim Comey, trust me. But I also think it's ridiculous that people are accusing him of trying to conspire to assassinate Trump or something. I don't even know what the far right is doing now because I would like them to wake up, but they're not going to. And I have Trumper friends, and I have friends that didn't vote. And believe it or not, I have more Republican friends than you would imagine because people kind of associate me with more the other team, the left and stuff. And I ask them often what is in it for them. And often I'm met with just bizarre misinformation. So that is something that concerns me and concerned Rosie O'Donnell enough so that she moved out of the country. Now, she's not renting. She moved there, just to be clear.
We got a question asking if you have a favorite special out of all the ones you filmed.
Okay, so first of all, I'm going to brag. I'm in the Guinness Book of World Records for having done more stand-up comedy specials than any comedian, male or female, living or dead. And keep in mind, I've been canceled, so I haven't done one in 8 years. But I actually have one coming out, and it's going to be on YouTube. And it's going to be like an hour and 45 minutes because I have a lot of jokes to tell and a story to tell. And it's even got some serious moments, but I hope you guys like it and I hope you buy it. I'll make it affordable. And I think it's too hot for streamers and TV. I do. I think it's not the subject matter that they're comfortable with. It's called Kathy Griffin, My Life on the PTSD List. I'm in editing right now, and I've been in editing for specials for decades, and I love, love, love doing them. As far as a favorite, I don't know. I am proud of the titles because I have one called Whores on Crutches, and I know whores is a bad word, but it also can be a funny word. And I have called myself a dirty whore many times, just in the mirror for fun. But I was gonna name the special something else, and I don't even remember. But right after I taped the special, it was in a casino. I went to the elevator bank, and I saw some working girls that were on crutches. And I thought, it's gotta be hard out there for a whore. There's a song called Hard Out There for a Pimp, but it's not easy for the whores either. And if you're on crutches, you are really working for every dime. So I decided to honor those ladies I saw that night, and I called the special Whores on Crutches. But the one that won the Grammy was called Calm Down Girl, Calm Down Girl. And so it was funny to hear that from like the Grammy stage. And the winner is, and I'll never forget, the presenter went, Calm Down Girl. I was like, it's Calm Down Girl, but I was excited to win.
People are asking where they can watch your specials.
Okay, so I own all my specials. I bought back my entire library from NBC Universal, now known as Peacock, and I have started putting them on my YouTube page. So there's one on there now called Allegedly. I don't know if there's any out there other than that, but if they are, they're pirated, and I'm gonna come after you and arrest you. So I'm gonna make a citizen's arrest. So if you see it on YouTube, you're not supposed to, because I own them. But eventually I'll put them all on my YouTube channel, and I'll do it for free.
Okay.
Not looking at the comments. I'm not doing it. I'm not gonna, nope, you guys don't win.
You're getting questions about Mariah Carey, Sarah Jessica Parker.
Oh, okay. You know what's ironic is you guys were asking me about Joan Rivers. The last time I saw Sarah Jessica Parker was at her Joan Rivers funeral. And that was an event, Joan's funeral, which she planned to a T. And Howard Stern delivered the eulogy. She had bagpipes. I mean, it was so Joan. I was so happy to see, you know, Melissa took care of everything. And I was so happy to see Joan get the send-off that she really wanted in the very specific way that she wanted. And she was always grateful. I remember she would tell me that Sarah Jessica Parker won the Golden Hanger Award when Joan used to host Fashion Police, as only she could do. And she said, I always loved that Sarah Jessica Parker, who's a legitimate fashion icon, also had a sense of humor and enjoyed her Golden Hanger Award.
Somebody asked about your book soup event tomorrow.
Oh, okay. So I'm moderating a book event tomorrow night, and it's for Liz Flint, who's the widow of Hustler Magazine's Larry Flint. Hold on, feminists, don't get mad at me. So I knew Larry a little bit, and while he was a pornographer, he also ended up funding and winning a very important landmark Supreme Court case called Jerry Falwell versus Hustler Magazine. Now, people think the court case is called The People versus Larry Flint because that is the movie that they made about it, which I highly recommend. It still holds up. It stars Woody Harrelson as Larry Flint, Courtney Love as Larry's wife, Althea, and different wife than I'm going to see tomorrow night, and Edward Norton as Larry's longtime attorney, Alan, and Alan became my First Amendment attorney, and he's retired now, but prior to his retirement, I kept him very, very busy. All my lawyers are real busy.
Are you being careful on your walks? Hopefully there's no more creeps.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I do. I do a walk every day, and now I have to take my dogs because I've had 2 creeps. Well, I got, as they say in Hollywood, papped, which means photographed by the paparazzi on Sunday. So I'm sure that picture is somewhere saying I'm old and ugly and a has-been and I am not wearing makeup. But yeah, when I work out, I don't wear makeup. I don't, tend to dress for my walks. And I wear a big brim hat because being a ginger, now that we're trending, you know what we go through with the sun. And my light eyes, I could go blind. And so I am careful and I go with somebody, but I wish I didn't have to, because typically that's when I listen to my audiobooks, is on my walk. But I can't have ear pods in because too sketch out there.
Are you planning on having another salon soon, and who would be the guests?
Okay, I love planning these salon parties, and I want to encourage you guys to have them. Now, mine are like bougie and catered, but I wasn't always like this. Fake cigarette. So you can have a pizza party and have it be 3 people. But the point is to just ask a few questions, make sure every single person at the table answers each question, meaning give each person a chance to talk, especially the introverts, because they want to just kind of lay back, but we want to hear from them as well. So I encourage you to have a few of your friends over. It could be 3 people, 2 people. I do a max of 14, but the ideal number is between 6 and 12. And you talk about real shit. So I've had everything from people crying because they got emotional. I've talked about my own struggles with, depression, or told a funny story. Like, I do think there's some comedy in the fact that I'm going to moderate a book event for the 50th anniversary of Hustler magazine tomorrow night, which I'm super excited about. And, like I said, I shared an attorney with Larry Flint, and so that's why I'm the one moderating that event. So that, for example, came up at a topic that I had a salon for on Sunday. And the guest of honor at my salons have been everyone from E. Jean Carroll, and it's E. Period space Jean Carroll, and she's the woman that won the $88.3 million judgment against Donald Trump, our current felonious fake president. And she was the first person to hold him accountable in a court of law. So this was that was her civil cases, and then of course there was the criminal trial, in which he was found guilty on all 34 counts. So there's that. I have biases, and in fact, I had a salon for Mary Trump. She's awesome and very brave. So I had one for Dylan Mulvaney, because she's taken a lot of incoming from the far right, and obviously trans rights are under fire right now, as are all gay rights. And I talk about this stuff a lot because I've been around for a while, and I think it's important that we pay attention to this stuff. I fear an America where it's not even going to be safe for a gay person to walk down the street. So think about that. And if you're thinking about what candidates are coming up in the next election, remember, we pretty much have a 2-party system. And you better choose, because if you decided to sit out the last presidential election, that's how we got Trump. Although I do have a lot more people in my timelines saying they don't think he actually won, especially the 7 swing states, and especially many of the they call them contests, but where the down ballot went Democrat, but somehow Trump won. So that is a notion that started out being sort of tinfoil hat, and I have seen gathering more steam. So I would love to hear your thoughts on that, because it's what I think, but I know that it's easy to say, okay, you sound crazy, but people are getting a little more I think, honest about what they think about the legitimacy of that. Because you had, Elon participating and Starlink, and we'll see how history reflects this last election. All right, you guys, I'm gonna wrap up because I heard the ideal time for one of these is around 30 minutes, and I'm coming up on 25. And you know me, I could just talk politics for the next 17 hours. But thank you so much for hopping on. I love you guys. Please watch Kathy Griffin, Talk Your Head Off, here on YouTube. Follow me on Substack and Patreon and all the other socials, TikTok and IG. And I love you guys and really appreciate your questions and everything else. So, we will talk soon. Okay, I can do this. I can do this. I'm saying goodbye. I love you guys.
Yeah.
And yes,